engagement that we have at the social media level.
Okay.
But what we've seen over time is it's a case of, you know, this steep graph coming down steeply. Okay. So we grow so very high and we reach climax so fast and the drop is steep. And that is evident in the fact that if you look at most of the online celebrities, influencers over time, there's a continuous recycling. You don't have one person that has been there for a very long time still relevant today. After a year, you see this person fizzle out. After another 1 year, you see another set of persons. After another 1 year, you see another set of persons. It has not been sustainable, and that's because of the cultural trend that we have here. It's always a case of
who's relevant at the moment.
At that point, who has it, and before you know it, it's another person. And that goes a long way to tell about the kind of content that makes these persons popular.
The kind of content that makes them popular. What kind of content do you think makes them popular?
If you look at the trend,
what kind of content do we produce in this part of the world?
Basically, our kind of content is always around entertainment.
Okay. And are you saying entertainment contents are not, you know, sustainable?
They've not been. Looking at what we have, they've not been. It's always about trend. What happens when the trend dies? It means that person's character also what dies. And if that person cannot hop on the next trend, that person also is long forgotten.
Becomes irrelevant.
Yes, and because you also realize that age is a factor, and the biodata of people who occupy this social media space at the moment are the Gen Zs.
Okay.
So these people are moved by trend, and trend is not always going to be sustainable.
All right, Mr. Kingsley, what's your take on that? Is Nigeria's global visibility driven by, you know, genuine progress or just social media noise?
For me, I think it's both ways.
Okay.
Your visibility could be towards a positive trend or a negative trend.
Okay.
So I think that now it depends on the percentage or the level on which your negative trends are and your positive trends are. What are you known for?
Okay.
What is Nigeria known for? And how does it affect global, you know, recognition or your perception about the country? So I think obviously we've done well to an extent, but there are still a lot of flaws here and there. Positively, let me look at the positive part of it first of all. In the entertainment industry, like you mentioned, we've done well.
Okay.
When it comes to music, we are the leading nation in Africa. Afrobeat is still the very #1 till date. When it comes to Nollywood, in Africa, we are still the leading brand.
Okay.
Till date. It has been sustained to an extent because it has its own cultural content, like what that content has remained.
So would you say we have the right structure to keep it going?
Yeah, I'll get there.
Okay.
I'm looking at the positive.
Okay.
Because structurally we have not gotten there.
Okay.
We are still very far behind.
Okay.
When you look at it, look at the sport arena. We have a Joshua who is a world champion, even though he's not a world champion currently. We have an Osimhen, we have Ademola. Those are prominent players in the field of sports, and they are making their. So you can imagine how much those guys earn per game or per week.
Okay.
And I want to believe that Nigeria is one of the youngest population in the world, and with a lot of talents. The major challenge, like you said, infrastructure is one. Structurally, we are bad. We are defective. The nation itself does not help you to promote your innate ability. What you see with Osimhen and Ademola is common with many Nigerians who are unknown and never had the chance to be exposed. So the talents are there. It's the harnessing of the talent that is the problem, and the environment to allow the talent to blossom. That's the issue. Globally, we have done well. Look at the digital line, the tech line.
Okay.
We are still the leading in Africa. We are among the very best in Africa.
So I guess it's safe to say that Nigeria is at the forefront, culturally speaking.
But if you look at most of those things that we are leading on, you will see little or no government contribution. It's pure raw talent from individuals. That's why I say structurally we have not gotten it right.
So it's the private sectors that are driving this?
Private sector, personal endowment, your raw talent, God-given talent, your passion, your crave, your exposure has been our major. It has shown that ordinarily we are gifted, we are talented, we are driven. Like you said, we're not noisy. Well, we make noise. It's just that we're trying to let you know what we carry.
Okay.
Though the environment try to limit our capacity, we know what we carry. And you can always attest to that when we shift the environment. Go to the US. I was reading an article recently where Trump was commending a Nigerian lady, one Wonkolo, who is part of the aerospace team. At 26, she had her PhD in the US, not in Nigeria.
Okay.
She's one of the best aero scientists available as we speak today. And there's so many of them like that. And most times we don't even know them because they're not in the social media, so we don't know that we have such challenge. Resident in foreign countries driving the economy of those countries. But we have them. So, but you know, when you look back home, you now look at what are we selling from the home front? Okay. The perception of people outside, that's not very good.
Okay,
it's
so
not done a very good job.
The
image is not good. There's trust issue. There's the Yahoo issue. There's the kidnapping issue. There's the banditry. So many things that are not allowing these potentials to flourish to the maximum. So there's so many factors limiting us. But ordinarily, we are endowed. We are among the most blessed. I keep using that word, most blessed nation in the world. Both human resources and mineral resources, we are about the most blessed. Wow. There's no other nation that rivals us. If we had our potentials right, we should not be blessed. I mean, within the first three most productive country in the world, we should fall among the first three.
In the world?
I'm telling you the truth.
Interesting.
We should.
Okay, we should. All right, now he just talked about rivalry. And Nigeria's image on the global stage, you know, is one that comes with mixed feelings, right? As Nigerians, we are proud people. We are proud of what we've accomplished so far. Like he said, you know, we are just vocal about what we are or who we are, right? So it's not necessarily that we are noisy, but we just love to, you know, brag about what we've achieved. And I think that's one of the issues that some other African countries have with Nigerians. If you take a look at some of our neighboring countries, like Ghana, even some countries in, you know, far away South Africa, do you understand? Countries like Namibia, they have issues with Nigerians. They have issues with the fact that Nigerians are doing very well, and they are not just doing well, but they are very vocal about their achievements. How do you think this impacts on us on the global stage? How do you think, you know, other people from other countries see Nigerians in the light of what you've analyzed so far?
I think perception for Nigerians or Nigeria has been self-inflicted. I'll explain what I mean. I read some recently in the news where one Favor of Philly was having issues, and somehow she dropped the Nigerian team and was now running for Turkey. Okay. Yeah, Turkey, yeah. And I was, okay, let me delve further to see what the problem was. And I realized that she issued a statement that was tagged under the Nigerian Sports Federation statement that said at the point she was becoming uncontrollable, and therefore they removed her from the list that was supposed to feature in the competition twice on 2 different occasions.
By uncontrollable, do they by any means mean insubordinate?
Maybe that was what they meant, but when I read further, it further buttressed the fact that she was becoming insubordinate.
Okay.
But to what extent do you sacrifice a country's reputation for ego? Because all I see here is ego. Because she hasn't been subordinate to Nigerians. It's just a few number of persons that have that perception about her. She has always been ready to play for the country. Okay. So at what point did the uncontrollability or whatever it is called now come into play? You understand? So now this is not a perception that has been created by a few Nigerians for Nigerians. This is a perception that has been created by a body that represents the nation with authority. So outsiders looking at that act by the Sports Federation.
Okay.
No, not Favor now.
Okay.
The Federation.
The Federation itself. All right.
By yanking her name out on several occasions, and even when she appealed, she wasn't giving response. She was embarrassed in publicly. That embarrassment would have been to her, but it was a national disgrace. It was an embarrassment to the nation. But that perception is there and will always be there, because what people will see for Nigerians or see Nigerians as people who are not serious.
So I guess her loyalty has been switched to Turkey now.
Without even asking questions. It did switch, and they accepted her with open arms. They didn't even discriminate. We would have discriminated. Even in Nigeria here, we discriminate against Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa. But they accepted that. Would we accept a Ghanaian to come and run for us? The nation will run and say, no, 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 how be it? You understand? So these things are, before we look at internal problems, we look at the people who are placed at the helm of affairs to run the country. They have not been doing a good job.
Okay, so the people at the helm of affairs have not been doing a good job.
They haven't been doing a good job.
Well, as we progress on the program, you'll probably open our eyes to what needs to be done by the powers that be to ensure that the global image of Nigerians, takes a positive turn. Well, it's still Flipside on independent television. We have to go on this break now. When we return, the program continues. Please stay tuned.
Some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Ugemobo Festival is to commemorate and...
Welcome back. It's still Flipside on independent television, and we're discussing opportunities versus noise. Is Nigeria ready for global attention? Now, here's the next question, and it has to do with the economy. I know you glossed over it earlier, okay? How prepared is Nigeria's economy to handle the increased foreign investment and scrutiny? Because nowadays we see lots of people saying they don't want to come to Nigeria to invest. How does the economy, or what role do you think the economy has to play in this?
I think the drivers of the economy have not done the very best of jobs. But I also checked and I found that there are some level of improvement. For instance, the CBN is something that the current government did that even though I may not like the way they approached it, and I still appreciate. For instance, the harmonization of the exchange rate is a blessing. Okay. Because you cannot just wake up one day and the next day you are a billionaire without doing anything, because you get your official rate from the CBN, and the next day you go to the bureau de change and you make an exchange. Nobody wants to come and invest in such an environment because it's not a true test of the economy. Okay. So CBN has done something good there to harmonize the exchange rate, and even the removal of subsidies, also a blessing. It allows people to think.
But that came with a lot of controversy.
Yeah, because it was not planned. The way it was introduced was draconian. There was no human face. You don't just come on the very. Look, you saw the way it rocketed when it was announced. Yeah. You ought to have had a master plan that allowed the people to gradually, conform to the new new directive. Because a lot of persons have made themselves billionaire through this subsidy issue. Okay. You get fuel for an amount abroad, importing to Nigeria. You are paid, and that same fuel is smuggled to a neighboring African country. Is the height of corruption. So removing those things have given some investors some confidence. So on the positive, they've done some good job. But let's look at the structure. Let's look at the infrastructure, for instance. Do you know that as at today, the entire major capital cities of states are not connected by train? It's an aberration. In fact, your road network is part of your economic viability. So if somebody has a product, to move them from one point to the other is a challenge.
From one city
it's a challenge, yeah. Then the issue of insecurity, you're asking investors to come and make investment in a place that's not secured. Somebody comes from abroad, we're talking about foreign investors. We talk about Nigerians abroad who are well-to-do. We have lots of them abroad who are well-to-do, who would have loved to come and invest in the country. But even when they come, where is the land? If there's a land, where are the access roads to the land? So there are challenges. But like I said, the economy digitally, the young men have done well. Okay. You heard of Flutterwave. Flutterwave is owned by a Nigerian. You've heard of Paystock. Paystock is heard by a Nigerian. You have OP. As I said, we are the biggest. When it comes to digital economy, we are the biggest. Because we have the population, we have the age brackets. In fact, Nigeria ranks among the first 5 countries that are most prominent in the social media. In fact, if you want to get the Nigerians population, go to social media. They are always there. And when you have a young, vibrant country like that, with this this number of youths, active youths, you have a very vibrant economy. So what we see play out is that the youth on their own have done well. Okay. I just mentioned a few, they've done well on their own, but yeah, some of them are limited, some of them are talented, but they don't have the finance for exposure. We don't have the forum where their talents are harnessed and promoted. Because if you look at the Nigerian foreign earning template, at the time, when I was following it there, at the time, diaspora remittances was the second largest foreign earner after oil. Okay. That's those Nigerians working abroad, what they remit to the Nigerian coffers. But today, it's the third, it's not the second. Now, the non-oil sector, the agric and some other areas have now taken over the second position. Wow. Now, I was talking about digital economy just now. Nigerian digital economy, for what I gathered, is almost 20% of the GDP of the country. Now, imagine if government, they are planning to, they have some programs they have announced, like I don't have problem with their policies. Most times, what I have problem with their implementation. Okay, they have a program here.
We don't have a policy problem.
No, we have never had a policy problem. We have some challenges in our policy, but then it has never been policy per se. Okay. It has been more of what implementation of those policies that were enacted. That's where the challenges are. You see, so what we have gained so far, like I said, is just a product of people's passion, vision that are driven by passion. Yeah, creativity and their passion. So they've done well. The GDP today is almost over 90% non-oil. Okay. The arrival of Dangote, I think some boy is working on something else, of private refinery, has practically reduced in position of oil. Imagine taking your currency.
That we are gradually moving away from over-dependence on oil?
Not really. We are moving, but it's very slow.
Okay.
Right now we used to be more than 90% revenue coming from oil. I think now it's about 80 to 90. Yes, it has declined a little bit. The non-oil sector is coming in. Digital economy is coming in. Okay. But the pace is slow, because of many factors. And among the factors I've not mentioned, the one that has the multi-hydra head is the corruption we talk about. Is the biggest of all the problem.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kingsley. I saw you laughing, Mr. Favor. Now, I would like you to speak more to the issue of structure that he mentioned, and then he also made mention of corruption as a factor, responsible for the slow pace of our movement away from the overdependence on oil, to other sectors of the economy. What do you have to say to that?
I'm yet to see some of the benefits of the removal of subsidy, like he mentioned. He said it's a blessing.
Okay.
I've not seen it. Okay. I've not seen it. I'm still yet to see it.
Don't you think you haven't, taken a more cursory look at it yet?
If he would tell me now. he highlighted the fact that there are blessings. Okay. But specifically, he didn't mention any of these blessings. We still went ahead to still discuss more problems. And even the hydra-headed corruption. Yeah. So where's the blessing? Because the last time I checked, from the time subsidy was removed till now, I've not seen anything that has gotten better. Either in this implementation of the policy, in the standard of living, or what else do we have to consider? I've not seen. So if he says there are blessings, maybe there are some people who are having these blessings, and whilst there are some, it then brings another problem again. Why some persons will be enjoying benefits than some, and that's corruption. So the problem is
because I know he made mention of the fact that some persons have become billionaires, out of the benefits of the.
Do I give an information? Okay. Right now, what they share at the Treaty of Government is over $1 trillion. Now, what people don't understand is that Nigeria has 3 major executive order: the federal, the state, and the local government. virtually every state, their revenue gotten from the federal share has been almost triple.
Wow.
It means we are not holding the right people accountable. And as we learned recently, they've been trying to allow the local government to run autonomously. I mean, have their own structure and run their.
Are the right people?
So the problem we are having is not that the money is now very much in abundance in the hands of state governors and as well as local government chairmen. But the issue is that the corruption issue is still there.
That's what we're saying. That how does this blessing affect Mama Chika and New Benin markets?
Okay, the common man out there.
That's what we're talking about, because when it's time to vote, it is this woman that we go to meet to say, cast your vote. Now, all of these things that he has mentioned are only on paper. And if he had not even mentioned it now, I don't know. I perhaps might never have gotten to know. We are talking about reality. What is on ground? How does it affect my next paycheck? So you can't tell me they are blessed. It's like giving me money and telling me you cannot spend it. Of what use is
the sense of having money?
That's why you say, oh, I've been giving you money. They used to do it to us while we were younger, and they'll dash you money. Your mother will collect the money and tell you.
To hold it in trust.
You won't finally go to meet her and say, Mommy, that money they dash me that they tell you all the food you have been eating since yesterday. Which one do you think I used to buy it?
Funny
corruption.
Okay.
So if Nigeria is telling us that Nigerians, we are giving you so much money, don't take this money. The day we not decide to spend, Nigeria will not say, oh no, all the foreign whatever we've been doing, it was from that money. Please don't spend. It begs the question why we have this money. So structurally, there are a lot of questions that will be asked that we may never find answers to. The system is corrupt. The next generation is corrupt. The one after that generation is corrupt. The one before is corrupt. Everybody is waiting in line in that corruption trend. So it is a case of you go, let me do my own. Nobody is there for
turn by turn.
Oh my God. Nobody wants to do the right thing. In fact, the right thing comes at the cost of your personal mental health.
It's funny, but at the same time, it's disheartening. And we are hoping that at the end of this program, we'll be able to profess solutions rather than just focusing on the problems. Now, I would like to ask you this, Mr. Kingsley. Are Nigerian youths being equipped with skills to compete in the global marketplace? Beyond the talents and the, should I say, expertise that some of them have actually acquired personally? Because most of these guys, just became what they are by personal development. Some, acquire skills by undergoing online trainings and the rest of them. But do you think we are equipping those people? I'm talking about the federal government now, our leaders. Are we equipping them enough to be prepared for the marketplace, the global marketplace?
It's okay. I'll answer that question. But let me say something on what he said.
Let's just try not to dwell too much.
No, I won't dwell so much on it. I was looking at the merits and the demerits. That we've not gotten there doesn't mean that the actions were not right. Because for me, for now, for the very first time, the foreign reserve has crossed the 50 billion mark. You see, those are signs of stability for a foreign investor. If he brings his money here, he's sure of the risk that if anything happens to his money, there's a risk. There's a place he can get his money from. So it gives them some bit of confidence to invest.
But we've had more.
I know implementation, like I said earlier, had always been a problem. That's why
I think that's where the disparity lies.
That's why probably have not really enjoyed some of these benefits. None of us really enjoyed it the way it should be. But it doesn't mean that there are no right steps being taken. There are some major shortfalls and there are some right steps. Now, I talked about the youth being equipped. There's this NIA, it's called the Nigerian Youth Academy. I think it was flagged up by this current administration. The vice president did that flag up. The focus is on digital skill, digital literacy, technical skill, and entrepreneurship training for youths. Now, as we speak, I'm in a system, I'm in an institution where training goes on. I'm in Edo State Polytechnical Center. Now, we have an entrepreneurship center. The way we are going now is that for your semester in school, one semester is devoted strictly for training, not the regular marker and chalk kind of teaching, but acquiring a skill before leaving that place of learning. And if for any reason you don't get an employment by your certificate, you will not get an employment by your technical skill. So it's not mandatory, starting from this year or thereabout, that you cannot graduate without having a certificate that says that he's a certified tailor, even though he has a diploma in mechanical engineering. He's a certified farmer.
From the institution.
Yes, you are a BSc holder, whatever you call yourself, but you are is it what do you call it, that do cosmetics or whatever, a specialist. Okay. You have that as an addendum to whatever you have acquired from your regular school of study. Okay. Now sometimes you may go to school to study a particular program that maybe you had a flair for, but that may not be your innate ability. Okay. In the course of going through the 4 walls of the higher institution, you're able to find that you have a flair for something different
from what you went for.
Exactly.
Okay.
And when you focus there, you end up getting your first degree, but your eventual hobby things in the other direction and makes you a very popular and wealthy person. All right. And it's not what you study that's actually making you, what you are currently.
All right, hold that thought, Mr. Kingsley. I know you have a whole lot more to say in that regard, but we have to go on this very important break now. When we return, Flipside continues. Don't go nowhere.
Event in Benin history, which dates back to 1504 AD.
Yari yari, Oba Tope.
The Oba of Benin added a colorful mood to the year's celebration as he walks round the city center amidst cheers.
Yes, it's great to have you back. It's still Flipside on independent television. And Mr. Kingsley was saying something about, the role of the economy in preparing the minds of the youths, to compete on the global level. Yeah, you can take it from there.
Okay. Like I said, we're working on that at the tertiary level, trying to ensure that pupils who are going through the regular schooling trend have the technical skills And when they add the ingenuity of the tertiary education into their technical skill, we believe they will come out better.
Okay.
And the government is doing that at the federal level, the state level. I don't know much about the local government level on those matters. But there are challenges. For instance, now, you are doing something that is technical and it needs power supply.
Okay.
And you have a 1 week program. And sometimes you have 2-3 days, there's no light. And you are not having any power available alternative for your program. The whole program is already grounded. And the political party today is still an issue yet unresolved. And no economics thrive without power. In fact, one of your fundamentals is power. Because even if somebody comes out and starts his own venture, and there's no power to power the business, he goes back to alternative power supply, which is generator and shell. If he builds that into his costs, it's not going to be profitable at the end of the day. Because you pay more when you generate your own power than when you pay to NEPA.
Okay.
And that is a problem we are still facing. Then the issue of like implementation and fairness. Even when we are picking certain persons for training, sometimes we are not objective, we are not fair. People should be picked based on either their flair or their somebody's going for a training, like even in our sector, it does happen. There's a training for technical staff. And the professor says he wants to go for the training. And he goes there, maybe it's outside the country because he wants to travel out. He goes outside the country into a workshop or a laboratory. And the machines there, he cannot operate them. We don't have values for technicians. It's a problem. Even the artisans on the roadside, there are some talented artisans on the roadside who should be brought into the regular higher institution.
Okay.
To even lecture some of those academia, because most of them are designers. I mean, they do more of design. But those technical guys, you can instruct them, they'll give you this is my design. Now interpret my design in real form, in a viable form, so a tangible
form. They offer more of practicals than
what we. So we're trying to bridge that gap. We're doing that right now, bringing some of those artisans who are skilled, even certificating them where necessary, getting them to work alongside with us. Because you cannot deny the fact that if you go to Aba today, some of the best shoes are there, best outfits are there. Sometimes it takes some of those things outside Aba to neighboring country and label them and bring them back and call it made in China. Once the name has entered made in China, that's what I want to buy. Because we have a perception that whatever comes from the foreign man or the white man is better than us.
Isn't that what the late Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana meant by neo-colonialism?
Exactly. That mindset is a mindset that nobody can change. Our products. Okay, take for example, what is the branded vehicles for Nigerian government? I told you there was a time when we had Peugeot as our branded vehicle. Why don't we have some local branded car manufacturers as our branded vehicles? You see, when you don't encourage what you have, it doesn't matter how skillful they are. They will just die local champions.
What about people like
they will end up being champions?
You said?
Innocent Motors. Yeah, the Innocent.
Innocent is there. Outside Innocent, there are other two car manufacturing company in Nigeria. There's one in Lagos and I think one again in the north, who are indigenous car manufacturers. Over 70% of their work or their parts are built within Nigeria.
And we are struggling to even know them.
No. I said this in one of our meetings. You see the National Assembly who should legislate in that order. What we call the local content in Nigerian constitution. That means you must promote local content. You are legislating local content. You are trying to encourage local content. You are going to purchase your own vehicle, official vehicle, for Nigerians, and you go abroad to ask for Toyota Padro.
Sorry to cut you. The only indigenous product Nigerian politicians can die for is the PVC. They can do anything to promote
it again. All right, let me ask you this favor, since you are so eager to respond, right? I would like us to address the issue of transitional, should I say administrative transition, whereby a certain regime, has set certain things in motion, certain policies in motion, and then a new regime comes on board and dismantles everything completely, all in the name of trying to, discredit the old administration and, of course, establishing their own relevance. What do you make of that?
You see this politics we've played over the years where, there's always this discontinuity in policies, discontinuity in implementation. It's going to eat us more than we can ever imagine. Because you look at an administration and you want to look at the statistics of how much progress they've made over time. It is evident, you can see it, and it's bilateral. Then you won't want to juxtapose it with the current administration and realize that it is totally polarized. I mean, it's a case of plus and minus. They have no bearing at any point to meet.
They're like light and darkness.
You understand? And nobody's even talking about it. And guess what? The the beneficiaries of these 8 years that just passed are keeping mute. So the problem is not even by the government itself. It is by the people who are even direct beneficiaries of these good deeds. So how about, for example, for example, my sister was a beneficiary of the last administration in Edo State. She applied for a grant and she got it.
So you don't expect her to ever speak ill of the administration? If you
ask her about that last administration, what did the administration do for you? She will tell you, I wrote a proposal for a grant, I got the grant, and I was also given a laptop. It is evident, it is testimonial, it is physical.
You think that's not valid?
That's super valid. Those are the kind of blessings we are talking about. Not the one that is
individualistic blessings.
Not the one that is being written on paper and they'll quote it on TV and we'll read and they'll tell. No, we want to. How does it affect the common Nigerian? The common.
But you will also agree with me that there are some persons, within the same population who did not quite benefit, just like your sister.
Exactly.
So what kind of language or what kind of song
do you expect her to sing?
She benefited not because she knew anybody in the government house. She benefited not because her father was anybody.
Based on meritocracy.
It was based on merits. So if anybody who is somewhere saying he or she did not benefit, what did you put on the table? There are yardsticks for all of these. I just told my father is a nobody in the state, but her daughter is a beneficiary.
Okay, thank you so much, Favor. Now, I would like to ask you this, Mr. Kingsley. Is there something you would like to
I will chip something in because, everybody has a stake in the national cake.
Polity.
Thank God for what your sister benefited. I can also tell you that the arrival of this current government cleared my backlog of arrears. I was owed my place of work. Not just us. If you are conversant with the law and Igoraki, which was closed, some of them went to court. They won cases. That's why you can see everybody has his merits. That's what I see life. Everybody has his area where he or she is good. What we pray for is that your vantage, your area where you are good, be more prominent. Those that have some have died, but those people that thought that there was no more hope, you started paying them their arrears. As of December, they've paid 2 tranches. He broke those payments into 3 tranches. And he was not the one that admitted the debt, but he said, no, it's unfair. He has paid them. Justice runs into billions, not millions. And I want to say the person on board has not done his good deeds. He has done. Currently, we heard there was commission, is it not some few days ago? I spoke with a friend of mine who works in local government. 3 kinds of vehicle, I think tractor, payloader, and there's a third one, grader. Each local government has been given such to ensure that the roads leading to the main routes are graded. That's why sometimes you have to hold some little people. I called my friends, they can't a majority leader. What are you doing? They said they gave you guys 3 vehicles of this nature. Because what we are doing is that sometimes we put the entire blame on the center or on the state governor. We forgot that there are other stratas that helps the government to function effectively. Just some of them are so close to who should hold them. Then one reason why they change policies, it's not just about the leaders alone, it's about us. Somebody started a project, very wonderful project. He did a project, started a project, and I came to see that it's good. And I want to complete that project. Now, instead of it to also acknowledge that I complimented or completed his project for him, if he's campaigning for his person, he will say, I'm the initiator of that project. I'm the one that he will not acknowledge me that came to complete the project he left uncompleted. So because of that, and I say, instead of him to take the glory, I start a new project. That's the mentality. See, we should respect each other. If a particular government leaves, look at what they've done well and improve on it. Don't just discard them. Then if somebody improves on what you have done or finish what you have started, accord him the respect that I started this project. Paul was saying, I planted, Apollos watered. It's God that giveth the increase. We should have that complimentary attitude. This attitude of trying to bring people down just to elevate yourself. That's why I said if men were God, nobody will be existing. We should appreciate each other for whatever values we bring to the table. And when that is done, and maybe the man on the street, the organizer feels appreciated, he will do better. Okay. The mechanic that fixes your car feels appreciated. The guard, your cook. Everybody has his role. You cannot do watchman, cook, and be in the back. You have somebody helping you. Appreciate the person. That way will do better. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kingsley. Let's beam our focus on entrepreneurs. Do you think they are ready to scale their businesses internationally, or they are just local champions?
Let me quickly comment on that.
Okay.
The goal of every entrepreneur is to grow bigger, to scale, to expand, and become a bigger employer of labor. But you look at the factors that contribute to scalability and growth, and you realize that they are not there.
Okay.
I liked what Mr. Kingsley mentioned a while ago. Power. For every business to thrive, you cannot remove power. The moment you start generating your own power, you are doing negative business.
How so?
Do you know the cost of diesel if you are using a diesel generator? Do you know the cost of petrol?
So in a nutshell, you're running at a loss.
It's just a matter of time. When you look at the books, the next thing you do is close up. It's either you do that or you start overcharging for your services. Okay. Now, when you start charging for your overcharging for your services, what does patronage now turn out to be? So all of these factors are very important. Then another thing is the technical know-how. Sometimes we start businesses with little or no idea. We just go into the business because we hear, oh, this is what's trending now. This was trending now. This was trending. Oh, this one. I hear some money there. Yeah, or if you just invest here now, money will come. You put money in there, and at the end of the day, do you know how many filling stations have been sold, resold, sold, resold, and resold over and then they change the paint, they change the name, they change the management. We don't. Are you talking about hospitality business, hotels, and you see today this hotel is booming. Now these are the peculiar businesses in this part of Nigeria. Okay. We don't even have industries as much. The only time you want to consider industries when you go to the Sapomba area and all of those places. Now, I spoke with a friend who owns one of the metal processing plant there, and when he showed me the bill for power generation in one particular month, 3 months that BDC decided to say they were not going to supply power, they had to close. They took a break. They told everybody, go home first. We cannot cope. When power is restored, we start operations again. That's how bad it can get.
Okay.
So what happens to an entrepreneur that probably took a loan to scale the business?
So they bid to probably go international.
Yes. So at that point, you are at the mercy of probability. Anything can happen. There's no assurance for anything.
There's no assurance for anything. Well, it's still Flipside on independent television. We shall be going on our final break on the show. The program continues afterwards. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. It's still Flipside on independent television, and like I said before we went on that break, this is the final lap of the show. Now, I would like to ask this question. How does the corruption perception affect our image on the global level? I would like you to respond to that favor.
It's a simple thing. You cannot put your money where there are too many uncertainties. At least every businessman wants an assurance for either you make profit or you break even.
Okay.
So if none of this is in sight, then there's no point in investing. What we've seen over time and the current perception of the country as far as corruption is concerned is appalling. It's very appalling. You don't
think that's discouraging investors, foreign investors?
Of course it is. We've seen investors that even left in the last 4 or 5 years. The ones we even had on ground could not cope. They had to leave. How do you explain a country where you can wake up tomorrow and the policy changes overnight and you are left at the mercy of nothing? There was a point in let me cite a clear example. At a point in Lagos, we had this Go Kada something. You know, you have an app, you want to take a ride, you book from the app, a bike comes and you know you can move about. The employment rate as at that time in Lagos became very high. We had a lot of people who got themselves jobs by just buying a bike. But what happened one day? All of a sudden the government woke up and said, everybody take your bike and leave. At that point, families were devastated. There were people who already were doing well for themselves because they could ride a bike.
They went back to square one.
They went back to square one. They had to start thinking of other businesses that were not there. Some had to relocate. Some had to take their bike to neighboring states, which of course you cannot compare a system with structure and a system with no structure. In Lagos, there was structure. There was an app. It was organized. It was coordinated. And everybody was happy. So transportation was being coordinated between commuters, riders, and all sorts. Okay. But now what do we have? So in that kind of, and these were Chinese-owned companies.
Okay.
So when that happened, they laughed and said, okay, good. We'll never make this mistake again. It was possible for them to have moved their app from Lagos State to another state, but did they do that? They went off for good. That's just one out of many cases. So it is a serious crisis to when you realize that, oh, anything can just happen. Anything can just happen.
Anything can just happen. Mr. Kingsley, corruption perception, how do you think this affects us on the global stage? And how does it affect our economy in the long run?
Well, I think it's the biggest challenge that we have. Nobody, like I said, nobody wants to put his money where he has no certainty. There are no assurances. And that's why I said the foreign reserve that has gone up. You know, there are some kind of business that comes into your country. The agreements you enter for any of these possible fluctuations, the country is held liable. Okay. And you can only hold a country liable if there's an asset to hold. So when you have, like what they are doing also in CBN, this recapitalization, every international bank should have at least 500 billion, you know, as their capital base.
Okay.
Is a way of assurance that, okay, we know that we are not a certain kind of government, but there are assurances to show that if your money gets missing, there are people you can hold, you can take to court. We've had some court cases, international court cases. Okay. Some we've lost, some we've won, because the people saw assets that they could seize if certain things happens to those agreements. Like he said, a new government is on board, enter into an MOU with a foreign partner, that government leaves office, the other government scraps it. It's not headed anywhere, because the government that entered into that MOU or that agreement is a legal government, and that agreement is binding. Okay. Except you can cite flaws in the agreement, it should be kept since it's bounded by law. So it's this issue of your capital base, your foreign reserve, that also assures them that, okay, in the advent of you derailing in the agreement, there is a way to hold you accountable.
Even in the face of threats.
Yes, because the issue of corruption now in Nigeria is not something that, I don't think something that we can really address. It's something like part of us. It's not a problem. It's part of, I don't want to put it, if I call it a problem, it's a systemic problem. It's almost everybody's involved in it. That's the bad thing. Those who are looking for admission to school, higher institution, they engage in it. The time they were selling admission for certain, I don't want to start naming, for certain amount of money. It was not hidden. Then there are preferences that is biased to genuine talents. Okay. Even at the very lowest areas you can find, even at home, there are biases. It's terrible. So it's not an issue that is isolated to the government alone. Even in churches, it's not isolated. You go to some churches, let me just, I won't name any name. Yeah. You see a church, you see the GO, the second in command, the third in command, to the 10th in command, they are from one state or one country or one tribe. Yeah. You will not see someone from a different state being the second in command. As if God is now biased selecting your tribal people.
Israel.
So it's a funny thing. So I don't want to it's a problem that what we try to do is to minimize.
Okay.
I don't think we can really.
You don't think we can for
now solving this problem? No. If I tell you how, the problem is it's almost entrenched. So we can minimize it, like what they do to us in TED Fund, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund. Okay. What they do is that they give you a certain amount of money which you must retire.
All right.
If you don't retire, your chief executive is held liable. Okay. So you are a staff there. Your documents, your wherever you are is known. They can track you. You must pay back. Okay. So you get it done, and there's a check and balance. Okay. Outside that, if there's no check and balance, and nobody can be held liable if you default, there's nothing they can run to if you fail. There is a problem.
So in a nutshell, you're saying that corruption has become so systemic and part and parcel of our system.
We can only minimize it.
Okay. In what ways? In less than 1 minute, in what ways do you think it can be minimized?
Well, like I said, for instance, now I'm a governor. Okay. He's one of my very major supporters, and I want him to have a contract. Okay. I should give him the contract, fine, because he was a supporter. But I should ensure that he does it, because he will still make his profits.
Okay.
The idea of him just taking the money and there's no execution, no penalty, I think is wrong. So we should be able to tell ourselves certain truths. I saw something from, I think, a coffee production line, I think somewhere in Taraba by Danjuma. Okay. Even if you steal money, I'm going in that direction now.
You are not encouraging.
The money that you stole, invest it from where you stole it.
Okay. All right, I'll take that to be your final submission. Now, in less than 30 seconds.
I feel people should work hard enough to earn whatever they get.
Okay.
I also feel that Nigerians and Nigeria as a country is not ready for global attention. A Nigerian may be ready, but Nigeria as a country, they are not ready.
A Nigerian might be ready, but Nigeria as a country isn't ready for global attention. Well, I hope we start positioning ourselves to be ready for global attention, because whether we like it or not, the world is watching us. Okay, so we must learn to start positioning ourselves just so we can meet the world's demands. My name is Harry Aigboje, and I want to say a very big thank you to my guest for being a part of the show today. And of course, a big thank you to you out there too for, riding with us from start to finish. Until I come your way again, same time, same station next week. It's been Flipside on Independent Television. Do the right thing, stay out of trouble, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Watch wherever you are. Pastor Armstrong Ewa is my name. There's a program called My Own Wedding must hold this year, 2026. The enemy is fighting tooth and nail, ensuring that you don't have a marital standing. In the name of Jesus, for those who are marriageable age and this is their challenge, I'm speaking to you. This is the right time for God to break the curse and to ensure you become the center of attraction that you are testifying in your marital testimony. Don't take a no for an answer. All who need to go sensitive for the program My Own Wedding was hold this year in International 2026. The dates are 27th of February, which is this week Friday.